Tan Malaka is a Sumatran communist, intellectual, writer, and a revolutionary virgin whose efforts contributed to the creation of Indonesia as a country and its independence. Despite his tireless activism for the world he envisioned, his name is rarely mentioned in the history books. Most Indonesians know of Tan Malaka, but only a few truly appreciate his struggles and consider him the father of the Republic of Indonesia. His story goes way back to Bukit Tinggi in the late 1800s, during the Dutch colonial era of modern-day Indonesia. Sultan Ibrahim was born to a noble family and attended local Dutch school and continued to college in Haarlem, Netherlands. During his time there, he started reading the works of Marx and Nietzsche, which really left an impression on the young Tan Malaka. He even tried enlisting to the German military, probably to suck it to the Dutch, who he grew to despise. Man, what's with non-Germans enlisting into the German military? Once he graduated, he went back to his hometown and started his career as a teacher and a journalist. Most of his writings highlighted the disparities between capitalists and their workers. A year after that, he moved to Batavia, present-day Jakarta. Here, he started getting involved in politics. In 1921, he was elected into the Dutch East Indies Parliament, but left in less than 2 months to join the Indonesian Communist Party. The party then started sponsoring schools all over Dutch East Indies. They became popularly known as Tan Malaka schools. He quickly rose to the party ranks, writing guidelines on how to manage these institutions. Eventually, he became the chairman of the Indonesian Communist Party. Another thing he found a knack for during his activism was in writing and in talking shit, which he did consistently. He published a few books on left-wing ideology here and there, and became an editorial member of a news outlet called The Miner's Voice. It's noteworthy that he did all of this in 1 year. Imagine what else he could have accomplished if he had access to nicotine. Just as he was in the height of his political career, he was arrested by the Dutch authorities, and then exiled to Kupang, and then later to the Netherlands, because he asked nicely to be moved there. While in exile in Europe, he continued to criticize the colonial government, and moved further east to Berlin and Moscow to hang out with more communist buddies. He tried to tell them that communism and pan-Islamism could collaborate, but to no avail they were not convinced. Despite the disappointment, he stayed a while, being a representative of Southeast Asia to the Comintern. After having enough of Europe and its cold weather, he returned to Asia, while still in exile and escaping Dutch authorities throughout his 30s. A life of being a fugitive forced him to take up 23 aliases and master 8 different languages. He settled in Canton for a while before moving to the Philippines. In all this time, he continued writing various books and published his magnus opus titled Naar the Republik Indonesia, meaning Towards the Republic of Indonesia. The book detailed on how Indonesia and the Indonesian Communist Party could take advantage of the state of the world to push for freedom. It was believed that this very work was a source of inspiration for the first president of Indonesia, Sukarno, and his vice president, Muhammad Hatta, along with other revolutionaries. Finally, in 1942, Tan Malaka returned to Indonesia and did what he does best, talking shit about the government. Tan Malaka was disappointed in the performance of the newly established republic and did not hold back in criticizing them. He believed the Prime Minister Chara's negotiation with the Dutch was too soft and called him out on it. To make sure that his dissatisfaction with Chara was heard, he formed a coalition of political parties and militias and called it Persatuan Perjuangan, meaning United Struggle. They advocated for the complete independence from the Dutch and for foreign-owned plantations to be nationalized, among other demands. The coalition was quite popular and also successful in getting Chara temporarily removed from his office, but just tried to kidnapping him first. Tan Malaka was accused of being a mastermind behind this affair and was arrested promptly. Once he was out, he created his own political party and called it Partai Murba. It was centered around nationalism and communism. Unfortunately, it couldn't amass a significant enough following. Despite this, he did not stop calling out the government, which made him into the enemy of the state, which forced him to go into hiding. This did not last too long, as he was captured by the Indonesian military, tied up, and executed by a firing squad in Kediri in 1949. Despite his efforts in creating schools, inspiring the masses, and literally coming up with the concept of the Republic of Indonesia, the New Order regime removed him from the history books for his left-wing affiliations, leaving him to be forgotten. Moral of the story is, don't try, because even if you do, they'll hate you for agreeing with a German with a crazy beard.